Well, hello, hello. Good morning. Today is day one of another 3-day workshop I'll be leading. This one is entitled Journey of the Spirals. I really connected with the message of the spiral and this idea that we're always growing, even at times when it might feel like we're moving away from our goals or our intentions. If we really can see that we're always moving and we're always growing towards what we want to be and what we want to generate in life, there can be a self-compassion and a new layer of love and respect. So we are going to create spirals today with that intention of really bringing that love and self-compassion to ourselves on the growth journey. So what I've got is my colored pencils, my Sharpies, regular pencil, and I have 4 different spiral designs to create. I'm going to describe what I'm doing as I do it. I'm going to show you. We're going to try to use one page. This is doodling, so it doesn't have to be organized. We're going to start and try to fill up one page. Should be enough, but I have 2 just in case. So feel free to have some extra around just in case, because you might want to explore with bigger sizes and, whatever you feel. This is also a time for you to tune into your intuition as you're creating and as you're becoming more in tune with what you like to do with your pencil in hand. So definitely want you to have that freedom to make big swirls and spirals if you want. So I'm going to start with the simple standard spiral. All right. Start in the center and we're going to make 3 to 4 concentric circles around. So I'm going to start kind of in my corner here. And I'm going to make the first one all equal distance as much as I can from the line. And I'll show you. All right, that's a standard spiral. Now, I'm going to make another one where I close it, and I'm going to show you how you can make a standard spiral into other kind of doodling objects. So I'm going to now bring the end in. So you'll see it's now a circle. And I'm going to put some rays like it's the sun. Also could look like a flower. And you might notice that, you're not perfectly equidistant as you're creating it. This is the journey. This is kind of watching your progression. Maybe through the course of watching this video, you will see improvements. And that's what it's all about. So there's my spiral sun. Nothing fancy. So I'm going to go ahead and choose probably the yellow and orange. Make a great combination to color in. I'm not going to quite use the dark yet. Where did my orange go? Okay, that's not an orange. It's hard to see in my glasses. All right, orange and yellow. I only wear these for reading or art. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and darken the lines that I just made with my orange. And maybe make the rays orange outlines also. And I'm just going to quickly color it in yellow. Remember, this is just doodling. We're not doing any kind of fancy coloring work necessarily. So it's okay to do it kind of quick. So there's a little sun. Simple doodle. Perhaps doodling suns would bring you a sense of joy, a sense of connection when the world is sunny and we're enjoying the world. So you might just want to sit and doodle suns or stars or things like that, just for the fun of it. All right, let's see. I'm going to do another standard spiral. We're going to make a snail. So he's going to kind of be sideways. And let's see what the little snail looks like. Nothing fancy. There's a spiral. There's a snail. So let's see. Snails are generally, I don't know, my snail could be anything. Let's do green and blue. I'm going to do a little bit of like a shading with this now. Maybe the center is more blue. I'm just going to kind of do these circle motions, and the outward is more green. So your colors can come in handy as you shade. So here's a quick, let's see if we should color his body in. I have a brown in here somewhere. This is fun for kids, making snails, all different types, rainbow snails, whatever comes to mind. There's a snail. Simple doodle snail. All right, now if we turn our spiral to the side, it makes a rose, a flower. So I'm going to go ahead and do it next to my son here and show you. So when you make a rose, hi Emily, you make it kind of flat. This is the part, and you bring the last one right to the center, because I'll show you how that will make a nice petal. And you just kind of make a little bit underneath the edge, and you can bring that thing down for a petal. And there, it's a simple rose. Not fancy, just a simple one. So I'll make 2 roses. This one's turned a little sideways. Might not look as pretty as the first one. There's my second rose. So Emily's here. Emily, we just did a standard spiral. They're just equidistant, and you can create simple objects with the standard spiral. And then I'm using my colored pencils. Let's make a red rose. I'm just going to trace that. And shade it in. Not trying to be too fancy. All right, I got a red one, and how about a pink rose also? Tracing. Roses are awesome because we're talking about growth. The rose is the final part of a plant, right? The final display of its growth. But a lot has to go behind the scenes before that flower can bloom. So the rose is an awesome doodle reminder that sometimes we can't see the growth because we're still a seed or a sapling, right? So there's simple roses. I put some leaves on them. Nothing fancy. There was one other one. Oh yeah, this is cool. The kids will love this one. A lollipop. All right, so a lollipop will be a closed spiral wherever you want with a stick. How simple is that? What's the deeper message of the lollipop? Takes time, right? You can't enjoy a lollipop by just biting it. You have to lick it and take time. Growth takes time. I like that. Growth can be sweet. The process can be sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a few different colors. And this is something you can do. You can just kind of add swirls to your already swirl. So I'm just taking different colors and following the swirl pattern. Show you my lollipop here. Rainbow lollipop. And a pink. Okay. Very simple. And we can color in the stick, whatever color you want. Okay. So those are standard spirals. They can also stand alone. I'm going to show you an example of just stand alone. Emily says it takes time to lick off the layers until you get to the good stuff in the center. That's right, if it's a Tootsie Pop. Yes. All right. So as you see, and snail, sometimes our progress can feel like it's going snail pace. So all these objects with spirals actually can encourage you as you're creating them. Really generating that just self-compassion, like, right? We don't have to be hard on ourselves. Sometimes we are. We're our biggest critics, aren't we? It's so interesting. So let your friends encourage you if you can't find yourself able to do it. Okay, I'm going to make it just a design now with Sharpie. So I'm going to trust myself that I can just kind of create these spirals, some different shapes and things without needing to pencil first. But if you want to pencil, draw first and then do it, totally welcome to do that. So here I go. I'm going to do this corner. And then basically, I'm going to do both directions. Now, if you are right-handed, it's probably easier to make your spirals clockwise. If you're left-handed, it might be easier to go counterclockwise. I'm not sure. Let me know. I challenge myself by doing both. But it's funny, whenever I go left, I have to start at the bigger and come inward. When I go right, I can start at the center. So let me know what's your hand like to do when it comes to spirals. All right, this is literally just a free-for-all spiral design. Okay. So here's my black Sharpie spiral design. This is nothing, not necessarily an image, just fun making it. Now I can make them different colors. Maybe I have a blue one. And I'm just going to be simple here to not take up too much time. But maybe each of my spirals is a different color. Or you want a shade. These are great ideas if you like to make homemade cards for relatives. Your kids can learn a design. They can create this. Put a happy birthday message in the middle. Simple, simple. So here are my, do I need that one to be orange? Okay, so I just colored in my spirals. Nothing fancy. I just kind of followed the spiral design. So Emily says, I always instinctively go right to left, sometimes inward, sometimes outward. Awesome. Yes, and black leaves you that contrast. So there's another type of spiral. This is still a standard spiral, but it starts more tight and it gets wider. So I want to show you that with a black. So it's tight in the center and then it's wide. That can actually look like a seashell sometimes. So we'll try a few of those. Tight in the center. And maybe these are kind of overlapping. So you see how your spirals, you can kind of follow the line. I see Taylor. Hi, Taylor. I'll show Taylor, we were talking about these images that we can draw with spirals and how much they speak to us about growth, the growth process. Sometimes we can feel like we're moving at snail pace. Sometimes we don't see our progress for a long time because it's incubating and growing. And lollipops take time. So patience and sunshine is the joy and love in the process. So there's some ideas there. with standard spirals. And you can color them in however you want. I'm going to move on to the second spiral, which is just a little bit of a shift from the standard spiral. And I call it the ribbon spiral. So my sheet's getting a little full. So I might actually do ribbon spirals on a new sheet. Okay, so a ribbon spiral is just going to be like a regular spiral, but not as many times. So I wrote down a ribbon spiral is, let's see, where's my little sheet? 2 concentric circles as they get wider. So we just go around 1, 2, and I count that like, okay, so it's kind of bigger, because what you're going to do is you're going to go to the center and you're going to create the look of a ribbon. So that's a ribbon spiral. So then you're going to color in, shade in. You could do color or you could do black, like I'm going to do this one. And I'll show you the real fun part with ribbon spirals. Make sure it looks like a ribbon at the end. Okay. So there's a ribbon spiral. Maybe it looks like a snake a little bit, right? Ooh, and Emily said waves and tornadoes. Yes, there's so many things. Use your imagination. We're going to get to a few of the 3D spirals too. So with this ribbon spiral, let me show you what happens if you have a tail that just kind of wants to have fun, right? Sometimes growth takes its own course. You don't even know what to expect. So here we go. All right, so a ribbon spiral. It can go right into another spiral. So then I'm just going to find that center and make it a little, and it can be equidistant, or you can see here, I'm going to get bigger and then smaller again. Now, if you're working with a child with this is a lot of hand-eye coordination. So say your child's struggling with handwriting, but creating spirals is fun and they find that really intriguing. They could be practicing that skill. So this is like the spiral, even lesson of the spiral. They could be practicing that hand-eye coordination in art, and that overlap and help them with their handwriting. Because you have to follow the line, stay with it. So these are 2. These are just fun designs. They can kind of go anywhere because you've got this ribbon connecting. And Emily says, I see a snake. Yes. We make friendly snakes when we doodle, right? I'll show you something else later with the ribbon spiral too. Actually, maybe we'll do that now because we are on the ribbon spiral. Okay, this is pure black, pure black ribbon spirals. I could do a colorful one too to show you an example. You could also color in, right? Put some design around your ribbon, follow it like a maze, right? There's our maze. Do a colorful ribbon idea. Shade this one red. Let me know if you're doing a black ribbon spiral right now or if you're doing a colorful one. And then I'll show you the next part. There's a colorful one. Is we add a design to the color. So for instance, we can make polka dots. on our ribbon spiral. So when you have some meat on a spiral, you can decorate it. You could also add polka dots around, one of your spirals. It doesn't have to be on the spiral. Okay, there's another speckled design. And there's the one that has it on it. Doing both black and color, Emily says. All right, let's do another ribbon, but this will be a little different. This ribbon will put a few segments in it. So I'm going to make it kind of wide. And I'm going to segment it off. Okay, my eyes are playing tricks on me. Okay. So there's a ribbon spiral, but now it has, 5 segments? Guess what? They could all be different colors. They could all have different designs in them. Let's do the different colors. I actually have some designs here for Liam to help choose. Let's just do the different colors. So the journey of growing can be fun, right? It can take on lots of different appearances and looks. And just when you think that growth has stopped, you realize it hasn't. So there's a very colorful one. I'm going to do one more and add, I'm going to do it with green. I did need 2 pages because my spirals are pretty big. Hey, Leah, why don't you come here and choose a design for me? Here. Come on over and choose a design, and then I can add it into my spiral. All right, here's a green one. Here, buddy, come here real quick. I want your assistance. All right, if he's not coming for me, I'll pick one. All right, I'm going to pick one. Polka dots. I did that already. Triangles. Okay. Let's do triangles in the ribbon spiral. This is to give you ideas. So if you just want to sit down, you want to put on relaxing music, you want to create something, you've got some tools. You've got some things you're like, oh, I could do spirals. And a lot of this material could come back to you and really encourage you and provide a grounding activity for you. So here's my best attempt at triangles on the green. All right, so those are ribbon spirals. And let's see, what else did I say? You can just explore with the thickness. So, you can make them thin, you can make them thick, you can make them go from thin to thick. You can add the designs interior, exterior, whatever you want. All right, now we're going to go on to vortex spiral, which Emily talked about, the tornado. And when I make a vortex spiral, I'm going to use my regular pencil. What we're doing is we're making a 3-dimensional look. So it's going to be like a standard spiral, but you're going to start tight if you want to start with the one in the center, and you're going to expand. So we're doing like the opposite of a tornado. It's actually like going into the eye. So I'll show you the example. Tight in the center, and then it starts to widen. And just kind of leave it wide. Okay? And then what I do to give it that vortex look, I put like a few lines. Like that. Like it's a staircase, or, you kind of see the light reflecting. And so what I'll do is I'll make those lines. Let's say I'll do yellow, kind of as if the light is reflecting, where it kind of turns and twists. And then we'll make our lines. So when you're doing a vortex, your lines are going to go up and down. They're not going to follow the shape. So I'll show you the example. So you're going to fan out, and I'm just fanning out real quickly here. And I'll do a few different colors. So you see how you get the vortex look if you do your lines not in the swirl shape. I'll add some green. And if you have a darker center, right, it makes the appearance that it's farther away. So I'm going to, I guess I'm actually doing a little bit of both. So I have a little bit of the circle for the center there and the other line. So it looks like it's got depth, right? Yes, tomorrow we'll be painting. So it'll be really cool. Some of these designs we can convert to our painting. So I'm going to make another vortex. I'm going to use a Sharpie this time, and I'm going to make mine off center. So this means that as I start to make my circles, my concentric circles, one side's going to be going and one side's going to stay tight. All right. Let's see if I can do it with the black. And we'll wrap it around. Okay. So see how it's kind of off center? This can give the look of a depth, but you're at an angle where you're not seeing that one side. So we'll do the same thing. I'll take my pencil and make kind of the 4 main vortex images. Whoop. And fan it out. And it might give an illusion. If you can see the optical illusion, is this higher up or is it all the way down? It might look like it's closer. These are just fun, just a way to bring some three-dimensional appearance to your art. A little blue in there. All right, there's a blue one. Just a little bit of depth. All right, what else did I say? So let's do one more vortex. We'll do it the other way. And I'm going to make it real oval shape. Sometimes your spiral might be oval. They don't have to be perfectly circular, right? So there's a nice one. And let's use, let's see, orange and green maybe. Do I have a purple? I'm going to use that purple. Orange and purple. Okay, for this one, I'm going to color it in pretty dark. So I'm going to make a really dark purple center here. And then lighten up. And I am following the pattern right now. So I'll show you one way of following the pattern. You can tell me which one you prefer. And now I'm just putting some orange over top. All right. I thought real quick, almost just like a solar system, right? We can get a little bit of that going on. Just another way, just another fun way to explore with your spirals. Okay, so far we've done standard spirals, ribbon spirals, vortex spirals. Now I'm really going to focus on the spiral with the interior design. So if you have a spot, what we're going to do is make like you're making a snail. If you want to, you can go ahead and add a little snail onto it. Or if you want to, just make your spiral kind of big and wide. I'll show you the example here. Okay, this is pretty wide, pretty big and wide. Now, I'm going to make a half, like a semicircle, right in the center where I started, depending on where you are. It doesn't have to be perfectly down. It can be whatever angle you want. I'm going to just make that a semicircle. And then I'm just going to start making lines, filling in my spiral. Now, I'll show you what, as I'm going here. I'm starting. Might look like a snake turning in on itself, right? I'm trying to make my lines not match the one right before me. So they're kind of, every time I go around, they're a little bit off centered. All right. Now we have all these individual places of a spiral to color and design. So this is the fun part. If you want to do this with me, I'm going to put these little pieces back in. I was hoping Liam would help me, but if not, I have them here. We're going to draw. You can use the color that I use. I might just go down the rainbow, actually. Or you can start with your whatever color you want. All right, but if you want to, follow along with the image with me. So first we got hearts, and we'll kind of put these in order. So, oh, red. Okay, so I'm just going to actually create hearts in that semicircle. I'll make them dark, and then I'm just going to shade it in real light with the red around it. So whenever I do these designs, I'm just using the colored pencil. I'm just making it darker and then shading it lightly. That's the cool thing about colored pencils. Depending on the pressure you put in, you can make a lot of different looks, right? Okay, now we're gonna go to orange. Zigzags, because you can use any other color if you want. So my zigzags are gonna be darker, and mine are gonna go all different directions. And then I'm gonna lightly shade the orange around. Now, if someone preferred markers instead of colored pencils, you could be using the orange marker and then using the Sharpie to put black designs on instead. But since I have colored pencils, that's what I'm doing. All right, diagonal stripes is yellow. So, which way is diagonal? Let's see. We'll go this way. And feel free to show me any creations. You can post them or share them with me, and I'll post them of what you make after this day one. All right, what's next? Open squares. Okay, green. I'm going to make them dark borders. And I'm making all different sizes of squares. You can play around with that. And I'm going to just color it right through. You could leave them white if you wanted. I feel like shading mine through. All right, there's the next. And now we're also, if you notice, we're using the colors of the rainbow, the spectrum. Growth happens in a continuum in all different shades. I love that reminder too. All right, we got blue and polka dots. So Make my dots. This kind of activity is really awesome for children too, to be patient with themselves while they're learning a new skill. Sometimes it's easy for them to compare, right, to their peers. Say like, I can't ride a bike yet, or I can't get math the same, or whatever it might be. Helping them really understand that their journey will be unique and perfect. You know, we can model a lot how we live our lives. We can also model it through activities like this, where we say, let's really, engage in something that helps us practice self-acceptance. All right, now I'm going to do purple. And I got triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and make different shapes. Triangles. You could also have your child draw them, like I was hoping Liam would come do. If you're creating, maybe they're not yet into creating, but you say, hey, I want to create something. Help me figure out the order of these, and include them in that way. Or they can create the designs if they have the ideas and write them down for you, or for art projects you guys do together. That's always fun. Why don't you guys, anyone there want to throw out a design for me? Now that we're back to red, is there a design that we haven't done that you think would be awesome that we should try? And I will do it with the red. I'll wait, otherwise then we have 2 more designs we can do here. I'll go ahead and start with this. If you guys have an idea though, throw it out and we'll incorporate it. One of them is spirals. So now with the red, I'm going to make my spirals that we've been practicing darker in all different directions. And shade it in. I might just shade around so my spirals look kind of white in the center. So there's spirals in a spiral. How's that? And then the last one I have here is flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and make orange roses like we just practiced before in my spiral. So around a few times, come to the front and down. Let's make those. I'm going to be different here because different and breaking the rules is allowed. I'm adding green stems. So they're actual flowers. There's flowers in one. All right. So there so far are some ideas. I want to kind of go over this and ask if you guys have any questions, or if you have, hearts. Emily, we could do bigger hearts or something. What if we did the black ones? Let's do that real quick with the yellow. And then if you guys have any questions or ideas regarding spirals, I want to give you a chance to ask. I'm just going to do this real quick as a black contrast. So I can show you that look. There you go. You know, and you could make, this thing could be like a whole page, right? You could sit there and go through the colors, patterns, or whatever. You could stick with one pattern, like polka dots or stripes, or just alternate and make a huge doodle design. So, all right, so there's those ideas. I want to go over real quick what we've made. Just a little recap. So, we have your standard spiral, which is just starting in the center, which is usually easier. Concentric circles around, opened or closed. You can make suns, flowers, nails, lollipops with those. And then we did, let's see, we did a few standards with just the black for contrast, tighter center, farther out, colored them in, just design ideas. We did some ribbon, which is where you make them thicker and can add designs, and they can kind of have freedom to kind of explore and go all different places. We explored with the segments, right, with the ribbon. And then we started with some designs on the ribbons. We threw in there some vortex look, get some three-dimensional look of your spirals going on. And then we finished up here with a design spiral where we cut it into segments and created different designs inside. So, yeah, and Emily says the sun makes me think of sunflowers. So really, this image right here can be a sun, or if you make the petals, a little thicker or whatever, you can make flowers too. So definitely, there's probably a ton of other objects that you can make with spirals too, if you think about it. Emily mentioned waves, tornadoes, basically anything can be turned into an image using the spiral as the interior design. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to give you a little bit of prep about tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be painting spirals. The idea with the painting is that we're going to be able to blend our colors and create an actual piece, where this is doodling, where we're not going to necessarily, put this up in our house somewhere. But tomorrow, whatever you create can stay with you. You can hang it. You can really remember it as your creation of your spiral journey, and really this idea of accepting growth and knowing that it happens regardless of what we're seeing on the outside. So for painting, I want you to feel free to bring washables, tempuras, acrylics, whatever you're most comfortable with. You can include the kids in this one. I'm going to try to include Liam. If not during the live, he'll definitely be doing it afterwards with my assistance. You can use just regular cardstock to paint on, which works just fine. Or you can use an actual canvas if you want something a little bit nicer. Totally your option. Make sure you bring cleanup supplies so you can wipe up any messes. And then, so tomorrow's the painting. And then the next day is collaging. So I want to make available the templates for collaging. I'm going to show them to you. We'll be using these. They'll be printable if you want to be able to print them. You can decorate them ahead of time, or you can actually paint them with watercolors or something simple ahead of time too. Then we'll be cutting them out and pasting them on Saturday. So I want to make sure you have this. It'll kind of give a 3D look because we'll be able to stretch these. And if we hang it up, they might even naturally with gravity stretch a little. So that's a cool idea for the collage, and I'll make sure that's available to download. So I'm probably going to use, Liam's going to be helping me, so I'm probably going to use washable paints or tempera, which is very easy to clean up also. Acrylic is a little bit more advanced because if that gets on clothing, it will stay. So I like to use that sparingly. If I'm including kids, I use more of the washable paints. So all right, I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you for joining. I hope you got some interesting information and creative impulses from this class. All right, have a great day.